like to say our prayer this evening?
I will.
Thank you, Aurel.
Let's pray. Yeah, no problem. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to gather together to discuss the matters at hand. We give this agenda and this meeting to you. We ask that you give us guidance, direction, and your wisdom. We thank you for this community of High Point and the people and the businesses here. May all that you want accomplished through this meeting come to fruition, and we pray that you get the glory, honor, and praise. May the words of our mouth and the meditation of our hearts be pleasing in your sight. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Man, thank you, Aurel. Right. First item on the agenda are the minutes, and I don't think we have received minutes for this week. Is that correct?
No, we do not have minutes.
Okay. All right. When should we expect the minutes, Michelle? Should we have those on the
You
next
might get them
meeting?
the first of next week if you don't get them tomorrow.
Okay. All right, thank you. All right, so our next agenda item is going to be the neighborhood updates. And we can begin with Oakview, Jim or Aurel.
Rob, before you do that, Mr. Mingo said he's having problems with his audio. He can see and hear everybody, but he's having a little bit of problems.
Are you able to type? Oh, there you go.
Did you all want Mr. Mingo to call in? Because I was curious if he can call in but still stay on the call video line. Oh, looks like we just lost him.
I'll text him.
Okay.
Okay. Then while we're waiting for Mr. Mingo, Jim, do you want to give us an update with Oakview?
Yeah, our last meeting was focused on trying to address the traffic fatalities at Johnson and Oakview Road. There's been 3 of them in the last 8 months. So we invited Matt Carpenter from the Department of Transportation and the new traffic officer, Lieutenant Jeffrey Krause. We did an in-person and Zoom, thanks to the magic of Aurel, and we had quite a good turnout. Quite a few people, I don't even know who they were concerned about these accidents and stuff, and they were all involved massive amounts of speed. One was at 100 miles an hour, and the other one was 82 miles an hour. Both uncalled for, of course, and so we've lost 3 people. And other than that, well, we're going to continue this until we get something done. Most people didn't feel like the meeting was we got no solutions to it. But then again, we were talking to 2 officials that really were not decision makers. So we're going to continue until we get something resolved. So, but other than that, we're planning National Night Out and we got a couple of other projects that we're doing. And that's pretty much it.
Okay. Thank you for that, Jim. And let me interrupt. I need to go back because I did not have a roll call. So real quick, I want to go down the list and just confirm who we have on the call. We have Jim Brownert.
Yep.
We have Willie Davis.
Here.
We have Warren Boone.
Present.
We have Aurel Henry.
Here.
We have Clodagh Lazinski.
I'm here.
We have Mr. Donald Belton.
I'm here.
Okay. Robert Sims is present. And we did have Jerry Mingo for a minute, but I'm hoping is trying to get in, Michelle.
I don't know. I text him, so I don't know what he may try to do.
Okay, we'll put him as a possible. How about that? He was here, but he's gone for now. So do we count that as attendant or absent? Attendant.
Oh, let me add something real quick, Rob.
He just came on the line. He's on the phone.
Excellent. Can you hear us, Mr. Mingo?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, excellent. Thank you, sir.
Trying to get back on. Okay, I'm here.
Thank you. Okay, Jim, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to add, we had 2 council people there at this meeting too, who were concerned about these fatalities. So that was nice to see them there. One of them was there physically and one of them was by Zoom. But it was nice that they came and showed concern.
Jim, did they give you a turnaround to what action will be taken? Any turnaround time when you should expect any results?
No, they've been doing some traffic, what do you call it, like, radar type thing at that location. I think he said, I can't remember the time period, but they gave like 212 tickets out, trying to slow people down. And but of course they're shorthanded, so that's kind of difficult to have somebody there a lot. But they're, like I said, Morel, you might want to speak on, you can remember some of this stuff. There was not really any solutions to this. We're going to have to keep going.
Can I ask this question, Jill? What was the intersection again? Did you mention it?
Johnson and Oakview Road.
Thank you.
And Rob, I would tell you that the police chief spoke with the neighborhood leaders on Monday night, and you were there, and Jim was there, and Mr. Mingo and Arel. He said that was one of his top priorities. He gave 3 top priorities that he was working on, and one was speed. And they have some type of plan in place. They're going to be looking at that because he said most of the accidents that happen in High Point are related to speed. And so that is something that the police has on their radar to look at, not only on Johnson Street, but all over the city of High Point.
Okay. Excellent. Mr. Mingo,
Yes, sir.
are you able to give us some information on your neighborhood meeting that you had?
Oh, yeah. Basically, that was our first meeting in person. And it was just a matter of us getting together and trying to get some priorities for this year, for the remainder of the year. And I think that's basically it. We're trying to get some priorities, what we want to continue to do. We already have a list of things that we do, but we want to see how we can accomplish those for the remainder of the year.
Okay.
I think that's about it.
Any major concerns or anything that you want to see coming up in the next couple of months?
We do have some concerns, but I rather not discuss them right now.
Okay.
We do have some concerns, but I don't think right now is the appropriate time to discuss them.
All right. I had the privilege myself of attending the London Woods Neighborhood Association meeting. They held that, I think that was May 24th. And the topic of their meeting, they were, again, talking about, safety on the streets.
I'm sorry, they held their meeting on May 10th.
That was the 10th.
Yes.
Is that the same day as
Burns Hill and
Burns
Oakville.
Hill? Okay. All right, so correction, they had the meeting on the 10th, and they talked also about street safety. They want to put some lights in the neighborhood of, I think that was Cedro and Gardner. They did have a representative from High Point Electric, Tyler Barrio, and he had mentioned that there was going to be some movement on that. And he also had mentioned that there's a summer heat release program where High Point Electric is going to be offering fans to the seniors in High Point. So they would just have to contact High Point Electric. And so that was the majority of what they spoke about at their meeting.
It was the Senior Resource Center that is doing the fans.
Okay. All right, my correction again. So anyone that's 60 and over, if they have no other means to cool their homes, they can definitely call the offices, and they're providing those fans for free. All right. Anyone else have any other updates from any other neighborhood meetings?
As I said earlier, the neighborhood leaders met on the 24th. And we had the police chief to speak to the neighborhood leaders about, the plans for the police department, and, talked about his 3 top priorities. We had Herb Shannon from the planning department to talk about some rezoning efforts that they're going to be doing within the city, and wanted to talk to the neighborhood leaders about, what's coming in the future, because I think they're going to be having a couple of public hearings or public meetings, and they're wanting input from the neighborhoods.
And do we have dates on those public meetings yet?
No, we don't. They have not set them yet.
Okay. All right. So there are no other updates. We will go to the next agenda item, which are the agency tours. And there was discussion early in the year for individuals who wanted to sign up for an agency tour. And so now we just have to decide when is going to be a good time we can go as a group, and what day and what time that we do want to go and who we want to visit. So I'm going to open up the floor to any suggestions on agencies or days.
This is Clodagh. I have 2 that I'd really like to tour. Growing High Point. I'm not sure I'm not sure how I might tour that, but I'm really interested in what they're doing. And also the mental health associates. I'd really like to do that. If anybody wants to come.
And Clodagh, can you tell us what are some good dates for you? Because both Alicia and I have had conversations with some of the agencies, and they are open anytime. We just need to let them know in advance so that they can be able to, accommodate you guys whenever you're ready. So you may not have to do it now, but you can send me an email, or all of you can send me emails on dates and that you might want to go and visit those agencies so that we can make those arrangements for you.
Sure. Can I ask, would it be better like 9 to 5? Would that be like a better time, do you think, or is it more the evening?
For most agencies, during the day tour would be better for you to see, pretty much everything they're doing, but it all depends on the timing that they're doing that particular program that, you want to see. I'm pretty sure you guys want to see what your CDBG money is being used for. So it also is going to depend on the timing that program is taking place.
Right. Okay.
And Clodagh, I'll join you on the mental health associates and the Growing High Point. So we can just get together and determine what's a good day. During the day is better for me, but my schedule is pretty much open. So when we get together, we can decide when we want to do that.
Okay, great.
Okay.
So didn't we put a list together at a previous meeting?
Last time,
Did we
just
do
people
that?
sort of mentioned what they thought they might want to do. But they didn't give any dates. I think Clodagh was mental health and Leslie's house at the time. And I think she was the only one that sort of gave out, somebody else gave out the ARC. It might have been Jim, but everybody did not give out agencies that they want to visit.
I'm pretty much open. I just need to know, you know, the schedule. I'm fine.
And I as well, I'm open to all of them.
Michelle, Rob, just a tidbit, Growing High Point, they're doing a tour on June the 11th and 12th from 10 to 12 to tour the community gardens. So I don't know if that's something you might be interested in also.
Yeah, and we'll send the information out. It's really the Herb Ag that's doing the garden tour.
Yeah.
And they are actually gonna do it on Friday and Saturday for people that can't make it on Friday. And so they have just completed a flyer with the times and the dates, like Mr. Mingo said. And so we can take that and send it out to you.
Okay, so Michelle, can we send out an email just asking for people's availability and to see when they want to attend these tours?
We can do that.
Guys, maybe we can, have a decision by next month because there are restrictions being eased right now with the COVID. And that's actually our next agenda item. But what I was going to say was that with the restrictions being lifted, now we can pretty much go wherever we want. I'm not sure how safe you feel going to these areas, but I know there's a lot of people that have been vaccinated and we are still able to wear our mask, even though it may not be mandated. So just give that some thought, pretty much determine when you want to go, and we can let Michelle know. Okay. We have any questions? Okay. And again, I mentioned the COVID restrictions. They have been eased up. I just want to, just make a quick announcement that there are no more mandatory face masks that have to be worn, but it's still suggested in certain outdoor settings. I know they're still requiring it on public transportation, some childcare, schools, and certain public health settings. But for the most part, those have been restricted and there's not a limit on the amount of people that can gather. But still, just be careful as you're going out there. The CDC is still recommending to wash your hands, stay masked up if possible, and then always keep proper social distancing. But we knew this day was coming, guys, and now it is here. So I just want to give a big shout out to America, and we got through the COVID pandemic. So let's hope for the best as we move forward.
Rob, many businesses, particularly restaurants, are still requiring you to mask up to come in. You'll see, gas stations, whatever, no mask, no service. That's still, you need to keep one in your car is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, excellent idea. Don't throw them away yet,
Yeah.
but guys, looks like we're turning the corner here. So let's hope that we keep moving forward in a positive direction and we can get through this thing. Okay. All right. So next on the agenda are the CAC expiration dates, and I think everyone should have received the email from Michelle. And it states that there are individual seats that are coming out for reappointment. Did everyone get that email?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. And so is everyone familiar with the process to get reappointed?
I'm not familiar.
Okay, I called and spoke with everyone and explained to them that what they needed to do was to talk to their council member and let them know if they wanted to be reappointed, if they were eligible for reappointment. And if they did not want to be reappointed, they need to also let their council member know so that the council member could be looking for someone else. And I spoke to, I think, everybody on this call and explained that to everybody, what they needed to do if they wanted to do that. As you guys know, some of you started out serving someone else's term. And so your term did not start until that person's term ended. And so for the 4 people that I think that's up for reappointment, I think that your term actually started in 2020. So now your term will end in 2022, which will be your first term. And then you have a second term to, to serve after that time. And Aurel, you were not on the list because you actually got reappointed last year. And so
Right.
you already have the time on your schedule for 2022.
Okay, Michelle, is there a deadline we want to put in place for everyone to reach out to their respective ward and to get back with you?
They just need to talk to their council person. I have already sent something over to the city clerk explaining to her that the people that wanted to be reappointed and for those that did not want to be reappointed, and told her that I had spoke with everyone and asked everyone to do that. And so once the council member talks to the city clerk, they will put you on the agenda at a council meeting if your council member is going to reappoint you, and you will be reappointed for another, to either complete out your term or for another term.
Okay, so I would personally want to ask everyone that can be reappointed, please get yourself reappointed. We've done a pretty good job here the last year with COVID, so I think you all should give yourselves a pat on the back. It wasn't easy, but there's still lots of work to do. So if you get the chance, please reach out, and we'd like to see everyone back here again for the next couple of years.
And Rob, I would tell you what's happened in the past is that the members have actually continued to serve until they were reappointed. And I think that's them. If they want to stay on until somebody is replacing them, that's okay. If they want to just go off at the end of May, which is when those terms happen, then I think that they can go off.
Okay. We have a question from Willie Davis.
No, I don't have a question.
Oh,
Did
that
you
was
expect me to
my
have a-
hand. No, that was my hand. I'm sorry. It was on your screen. I'm thinking, okay, it's a weird looking hand. All right, cool beans. Okay. All right, guys. So again, let's get that done as soon as we can. Everyone's service here is greatly appreciated. And so we want to make sure that we get those in as soon as we can. Okay. Any questions, comments?
Oh, I just have a quick one. I did speak to Victor, and Michelle and I did speak. I was kind of wondering if there was like a vote, but I don't think that there is. So that's probably what I was a little confused about. Sorry.
I'm sorry. Now, when you say a vote, what do you mean?
I wasn't sure if they're like, let's say there's an agreement between me and my councilman. I wasn't sure if then it went somewhere else to be voted, but I don't think that that's the process. So
no, if your council member decides that you are going to remain on the CAC, you have to be reappointed, and it has to be reappointed by city council.
okay. So there is a little vote, I guess.
Yes, by city council.
So I have
Michelle,
So
Yes.
I'm guessing that once they contact their city council person, that this will be voted upon by the next city council meeting. Is that correct?
I'm not really for sure exactly when they'll put it on the agenda, but normally once the decision is made, it normally goes up on the agenda. So, but I'm not really for sure exactly what day it'll go up on the agenda, what council meeting that will happen.
Michelle, for some clarity to the new members, you can serve 2 consecutive terms, and then can you say be off a term and then be reappointed again, just for clarity?
Okay. If you guys look at your, can you hold on just for 1 minute, please? Okay, if you guys look at your updated bylaws that you did, and if you look at the ordinance, there is some language in the ordinance that basically says that you could serve up to 3 terms. And then after that's up, then you can actually be off the CAC. And I think you're off the CAC for a year, and then you can come back. Did that answer your question, Ms. Mingo?
Oh, yes, I'll just for the clarity for the new members, yes.
Yeah.
Right, any other questions, concerns, comments? Okay. We'll move on to our next agenda item, and that's the Community Development and Housing Update. Michael McNair.
Hello, everyone. Give me a minute. Let me share my screen. I've prepared a presentation that I'll cover off the first 3 items so we can kind of move pretty smoothly there. Here we go. Can everybody see that okay?
Yes.
Okay. So as the agenda talks about, lists out there, I'm going to go through the substantial amendment, and then I'll give you some updates on the American Rescue Plan. And then we'll talk a little bit about the core city redevelopment funding. This was the item, Jim, that you and I were supposed to come back on last meeting, and somehow it got away from us. So I just told Michelle to put it on the agenda so we'd be sure to touch base with it. Now, you've heard us talk throughout the year. This is the second allocation of CDBG CV funding, and we've been telling you throughout the year that we were putting together a project that would be a public facility oriented towards homeless services. So we're at the point now where we're ready to go forward. We're planning to go to council on June 21 at a public hearing to do an amendment to the 2019 annual plan. A substantial amendment is HUD requires us to go that particular year. The way the funding breakdown right now, we're still working through whether we'll break out a piece for administration because we're still going to need money to do studies and get some engineering work done. But basically the idea behind the day center will be to provide opportunities for individuals, homeless individuals, and give them access to services. And also there will be, the concept is for there to be a phase 2 where there'll be permanent housing included on the site in future phases. This kind of gives you some idea of what a homeless day center project would include. We would envision that the facility would have, again, a day center for those services, maybe healthcare assistance, workforce development, social services, also have access to showers and laundry facilities and the like, computer access. And then probably we'll have a shelter within the building. So we haven't gotten to that point as far as working through all those details yet, but I've got a site plan that I can show you. It's sort of a conceptual site plan where you see those gray rectangles. Those represent 384 square feet tiny homes. So we're looking at a tiny home village there. There's 49 units in this drawing. We imagine it won't be quite that many because we need to have some space for some amenities and stuff. But still, it just gives us an idea of how that would work. The building itself that you see, the existing building, will be refurbished and repurposed to provide the day center. So you'd have a combination of having a day center, perhaps a shelter, and then right outside would be permanent affordable housing, transitioning people to permanent housing. So it's sort of a win-win for all involved. But that's kind of we're moving forward on that. We're trying to get in front of a deadline from HUD, so we've got to get the funds in the system, so to speak. Y'all excuse me, my dog is barking. Any questions about that before I leave that? Because I'm going to go to the next one.
Yeah, Mike, how many people are you going to be able to help?
Well, Jim, this project is not going to be run by the city. Basically, the idea would be to partner with an existing agency that hasn't been finalized yet. But it will, so I can't give you a hard number on that. Like I said, certainly there's room for 49 units of permanent housing, so that's 49 people. And then within the building, I'm sure we haven't gotten the dimensions or gone in and done a walkthrough, so we're not exactly sure how many beds can go in there. But I know the building is 13,000 square feet. So we think that we could get quite a few folks in. Of course, this will help to prepare, respond, and prevent coronavirus, respond to the pandemic for the homeless. And we don't have a day center in High Point, so this would also be meeting a need in High Point.
Will this also address addiction problems? Because a lot of the homeless do have.
That is a programming issue that kind of goes beyond. Right now, we're looking at the physical part of it. I understand what you're saying. That's something that the agency could make a call on, whether they want to try to coordinate that, because there should be enough space in there to bring services in, where people can access mental health or any other health service treatments. So they have to figure out how they want to program it. At this stage, we just don't have that level of detail.
Okay. Sounds good. Appreciate it.
Hey, Michael, where is this located? Where is this building at?
Well, since we have not, since we don't have control of the site yet, I want to leave that to your imagination.
Is it big enough?
We think it is, yeah. Don't let it looks, I was trying to fill out the page, so I didn't have it zoomed in too much. but it is 13,000 square feet, the building itself.
Okay, and another question, I know this is this is a day shelter, but are there any plans for any support for, let's say, graduating seniors or young people getting out of high school, or those becoming seniors, for any summer work or summer programs?
This is going to be probably just focused on providing services for the homeless. Now, there are other opportunities that are kind of coming around the bend. I was actually going to touch base with that on the next item. With the American Rescue Plan, there may be other funding opportunities for some of these type of services, depending on where they're located. But on this particular site, probably not. Hold on just a second. I hate these 15-letter passwords. Okay. Oh, excuse me, guys. I got to satisfy the security beast here. Okay, I got it. Okay. Now, let me go to the next one here. So like I said earlier, we'll be going to council and public hearing to make this amendment on June the 21st. Now, the American Rescue Plan, you've read about it. This was approved back in March. Bill provided for almost $2 trillion in federal funding. Right now, everybody is focused in on a part of it that's called the local recovery funds. You've been reading about that in the paper. High Point has been allocated $23.4 million. I think Greensboro has been allocated about $54 million. I think the county's been allocated about $108 million. We've all been kind of thumbing through the interim rule that came out. It's a nice 151-page document, but we're able to glean some things out of it. One of the things that it talks about is qualified census tracts. If you look at that map on your right, or the map, whether it's on your right or left, those purple areas are qualified census tracts in High Point. So what that means is that families that live in those areas are almost automatically qualified to receive certain programs and benefits. And there are a lot of activities that fall into that. A lot of housing stuff, lead-based paint, affordable housing, home repair, housing for the homeless, and other things that are in there too. So if you're located in a qualified census tract, it's kind of opens the door, because the assumption is if you live in that census tract, you have been impacted by the pandemic. That's the logic that's in the rule. So, and as you can see, a qualified census tract is 50% of the household below 60% AMI, or the tract has a poverty rate of 25% or more. So if it's, I think as you look at that, you'll see familiar outlines. Those are shapes that we're kind of familiar with from looking at core city stuff. So I think everybody has a good feel for where those tracks are. Any questions about that before I move on?
Yeah, I got a question, Mike. What would the development of affordable housing look like?
What it would look like?
Yeah, when we have 23 million to go toward development of affordable housing.
Well, okay, I'm sorry, I left a big hole. The city's first priority, well, all local governments, their first priority is going to be to try to identify ways to reimburse themselves from pandemic costs. That's their first priority. Okay, that's why they call it local recovery funds. They haven't gotten to the point that where they'll make a recommendation to council of, we ought to do, we recommend that you allocate this for that and that for this. We're nowhere near that. These funds are going to be out there for 4 to 5 years. I think you have till 2024 to commit them, and 2026 to spend it, have them all spent. So, everybody's kind of looking in their little, from our own little corners, and we immediately picked up on the housing stuff. Said, hey, guys, you can do this. But no, it's not. I didn't mean to imply that the city was going to put $23 million in the housing. That's very unlikely. But I would anticipate that we would do what we do now, just do more of it. Like, for instance, one of the suggestions, if you recall, about a year ago, council was talking about having targeted neighborhood projects where they want us to identify areas and neighborhoods where we can go in and make a difference in a neighborhood. So I actually had shared with the manager's office, which they share with council, that because of the rescue plan, some of these items that are in the rescue plan, and also the availability of tax exempt bonds, which are also like qualified census tracts. There were some opportunities to do some things in the core city that we previously would not have had the funding for. So I think you probably will see a lot of infill development type stuff. I don't see us going in and bulldozing a neighborhood and rebuilding it. It's not going to be anything like that. But you'll see I would anticipate some infill development, some home repair programs. They have to decide on, some things that we may have not have done in the past. Like, do you want us landlords and stuff like that? But it's very early. We just got the guidance like 2 weeks ago. So it's just very early. And then there are other funding is going to come down that nobody has any idea what that focus area is going to be. We do know that we have a special allocation of home funds in the amount of 1.9 million, might be 198, I think. And that's going to require another amendment down the road. So I don't know if I cleared it up or muddied it up. Did I? Did I answer your question?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Yes, you did. I have another question for the home repair program. Even though I know it's early in this process, a lot of home repair programs that I've seen, qualified individuals are homeowners. You think that's going to be the same thing here, or will it be different?
Well, the act refers to people that live in those census tracts. That to me means owners and renters. The question becomes as a policy standpoint, as you know, the city does not provide any assistance to renters unless it's through lead-based paint program, which we don't have one right now. I've sort of bounced the idea out there that if we're going to go in and work in a neighborhood, we can't skip over the renters. You end up with a snaggerpuss effect. So you'd have to offer something to the landlord, maybe a shared cost approach or something like that to get them on board. I know they're not going to accept, I know there won't be appetite for, giving grants maybe, but perhaps for lead maybe, because we've done that in the past. But there's some way, you know, cost sharing or something. So I think we might get some traction with that. I think it becomes pretty apparent if you go look at the street. When we looked at it last year, I said, I don't think you realize how spread out the homeowners are. They're in pockets here and there, and you go in a neighborhood, you might have 4 living here, you might have 5 living on the other street, and then the rest of the neighborhood is rental. So if you go in and just deal with those homeowners, you kind of, it's hard to see what you've done because the rest of the neighborhood doesn't look as strong as it could. Okay.
So I would be,
And Rob, if you're having sleepless nights, man, I'll be glad to send you a copy.
no, no, not sleepless nights. I just know that there's going to be a getting back to normal phase here. And so just as you said, you know, we got these neighborhoods where you have homeowners and home renters. And so I'm just trying to see if that would be a possibility. Because I do see a lot of people who come in and they need upgrades, but they don't own the house that they live in. And so I've seen a lot of programs that, you know, offer this to homeowners and not necessarily home renters.
Right.
But if we are able to get there, I mean, I think that would be awesome because that just improves the whole neighborhood, renters and owners.
And, you know, we see that a lot with code enforcement. You know, a lot of the properties that we're dealing with are rental properties. So, yeah, I know exactly where you're coming from. But that's just something we have to advance that. I have to advance that concept. I think council will be receptive to it. I just have to talk about it a little bit more.
So I have a quick question on that then. If there's a rental property and let's say there's a landlord and they might own 10, 15 homes in that area. And let's say in my scenario that the landlord is, say, a multimillionaire because he owns a lot of homes. So they would be approved for all these upgrades.
You're getting, right now we're just at a concept level.
Okay.
I hear what you're saying. You know, we don't know. We'd have to shape that up. Some of it would be a matter of if there is a housing code issue, the landlord may be facing a repair or vacate anyway. You know what I'm saying, Clodagh? So if the house, so what we're looking at is houses that are substandard. Most of those you can see from the outside.
Yeah.
And the point you're making is part of the dilemma I think council has, where you have people who are, for lack of a better term, slumlords, who have the resources but don't put the money in because they say they can't get it back.
Yeah.
They can't charge enough rent. And we'll just have to try to work through that. There may be, like I said, it may be a way to do a shared cost, you know, or some way to offset some of the costs. We'll just have to explore that.
Yeah, because that would be a great way for someone who can well afford it to just have the city pay for a lot of things.
Yeah, but if there are code violations involved, they're gonna have to take care of it, period.
Right. Well, there's a difference though between them taking care of it and it being taken care of for them. I was just wondering.
I understand what you're saying, and that's part of the, frankly, that's part of the difficulty of all of this. When you start getting into that, we haven't figured that out yet.
Okay.
But I hear you. It's something that we're fully aware of. There's always somebody who wants to game the system and take advantage, you know, just like we're seeing where people have been cheating on the, you know, getting PPE loans and stuff. PPP loans. Anybody else for me before I move on? Okay. Well, as we get more information, we'll certainly share it with you. We really don't know a whole lot yet. Council was asking some questions this week, and staff basically said, somebody asked, well, can you do, you know, economic development or something? They were like, we don't know. We have to, we're listening to all the webinars. We're trying to digest the regulation. rule that came out was the interim rule, which means it's going to be a final. So they're not at this point, and even the mayor commented, we don't think it'd be wise to do a lot of commitment of funds at this stage. We need to be analyzing and planning and not trying to spend. So there's going to probably be a period, I imagine, up to even the end of the year where you won't see a whole lot of activity. It'll be more of trying to figure it out where we go from here.
Can we get this PowerPoint email to us?
Can you get it
Yes.
for a small fee? Yes.
Small fee. I'm poor. You make all the money, Michael.
Okay. Now, Jim, this part you've been waiting for. Jim has been asking about the core city redevelopment funding, and what we've done, Jim, is gone back and looked. I've had folks go in and analyze all the data from 2016 coming forward. To date, there's been $2.6 million allocated to CD. There's still other funds that remain in the manager's office. We have to date expended just under 1.7 million and have a balance of about 900,000. You can see on the right there an account breakdown that tells you what type of activity it was or what category it fell into. The biggest one was home buyer assistance. You know, we have the, well, hold on a second. I can't, this thing's in my way. Oops. I can't see the contractual services. I can't tell if that's bigger or not.
It's 805,323.59.
Okay, thank you. So that bar is over that. So that's where most of the money went. The contractual services would be things like Operation Inasmuch, where we are working with Community Housing Solutions. You're familiar with Operation Inasmuch. Home repairs, basically. And then, of course, home buyer assistance. You're familiar with the Core City Home Buyer Incentive Program. Infill housing is when we actually acquire property for future development. Rehabilitation pay, I believe that is associated with, I don't know why it's broken out from contractual services. I believe it's associated with rehabilitation. And the rest of it is pretty much miscellaneous stuff. But just wanted to put that out there for you, Jim.
Didn't this Core City Redevelopment Fund, didn't it start earlier than 2016?
No, that was when it started. It started July of 2015, 16. Okay. So yeah, July 2015 would have been the 15-16 fiscal year.
And can I just say for clarity, Mike, the rehab pay is a separate account. It has its own account, so it's not included in contractual services.
Okay, but it's just rehab.
Yeah, read that. Yeah, the 127 is strictly rehab.
Okay, Jim, you got any more questions about that?
Well, I remember you said this money was increased to 800,000.
Well, let me clarify something. See, council will approve, like in 2019, council approved 800,000. 600,000 was allocated to community development. The remaining 200,000 was held on to by the manager's office.
What's
So,
he doing?
Pardon?
What are they doing with it?
They're primarily using that for tax foreclosures.
Yeah, acquisition.
Yeah, acquisition tax foreclosures. There's the city has an agreement with the county that if there is a tax foreclosure and nobody buys it off the steps, then the city has to buy it. And so that's what they use those funds for.
Maybe I'm misunderstanding. I thought that because I remember the meeting with a former city manager at the Oakview Rec Center that this money was to work on the blight. That's what it was aimed to do.
Yes. But as a practical matter, that's the way it's been distributed. Because those properties that are coming in as foreclosures are by and large blighted anyway. So sometimes we end up demolishing them. Sometimes we try to sell them. Sometimes we try to redevelop them. So it's, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
So, I mean, it's not like they're taking the money and going on a cruise with it. They're actually dealing with properties that are coming in through the tax foreclosures.
Okay.
Hey, Mike,
Yes.
what is the relocation URA?
URA stands for Uniform Relocation Act. All the federal requirements, all the federal agencies have to use a standard relocation approach, follow certain guidelines. We probably had a case where somebody had to be relocated either temporarily, or sometimes if we buy a property that displaces somebody, you would have a relocation benefit. But with that amount, which is not much, I suspect there was some temporary relocations, because sometimes you're doing work where people just can't be in the house. You know, if you're generating a bunch of dust while you're doing the work, it's safer to just relocate people to a hotel or something until we're done. And so that's probably what that is.
Okay.
If I can add, Mike, that also includes, I think, some relocation from some of the activity that was related to the stadium.
Yes, I remember that one. Yes.
Right. Right.
Yes. Actually, not when the stadium, there was only one person that was actually displaced, if I recall, from all the stadium acquisitions. So that's what that was. That's what that was about.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Anything else on that?
Appreciate all that information, Mike.
All righty. Well, that's all I've got on that. I appreciate your time, and we can go to the item.
Right. Thank you very much, Michael. Next on the agenda, we have the VITA tax season. And did you want to speak to that, Alicia? Or?
Yes, I'm going to share my screen here. Can you see my screen? Yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to give an update on the VITA tax season we just finished up. So it was last week. It feels longer than that. And just talk to you a little bit about our season. First thing I wanted to start with just some of our standards that we hold for the VITA program. We really take pride in preparing accurate returns, providing excellent customer service, and really earning our clients' trust. We also take the time to talk to our clients about how to maximize their refund if they're not in a good tax situation this year, how they can set up their W-4s or their withholding to come out better next year. We also take the time to talk to them about resources that we know of in the community. If we are sitting with someone and they're talking about how much they pay in rent, we try to connect them with our home buyer assistance program. And then client confidentiality and safeguarding their information, we take that as very serious as well. I think I talked a little bit about this before, but we did take a lot of preventative measures to make sure we were all as safe as possible. That's our volunteers, our partner sites, and our clients that came in. So we staggered our appointments. We had different options. So we actually had a link that we could share out by email. So if someone was comfortable enough to prepare their own taxes, they could do that through our facilitated self-assistance site. We also had our drive up and drop off option, which was very popular this year. We were proud about that. Of course, we had all the gloves and the face shields and the hand sanitizer and the distancing. We did, instead of having clients face to face and sitting at a table, we actually did a lot of our interviewing and our scheduling by phone. So we were able to kind of separate out that process. We also had to vary our site hours depending on most of the nonprofits or the colleges that we were located at. They had restricted hours, or they were limiting who could come into their building. So we had to adjust our hours based on that. These are some of our sites. We did, you're probably aware that the IRS extended the season through May the 17th. So we were open on the last day, May 17th, and we still had a lot of late filers coming in. So we were glad to be able to help them out. Also wanted to spotlight, we had our first prep only site, which was High Point University. A lot of the students that we get through the accounting program there, they were sort of limiting how much the students could go off campus. So we decided to open up a site on their campus so that it was convenient to them, and it still helped us meet our return count goals. So they were actually the ones that were preparing returns. They also had client interaction because they were able to make phone calls and talk to clients. They reviewed their return over the phone, and then scheduled them to come back to one of the on-site locations for pickup. So you can see we were doing taxes 6 days a week. We had a site open Monday through Saturday. Some days we had more than one site open. We also had, all these sites had different options. So I'm gonna, I think I've showed these before, but this is our bookmobile at the High Point Library. When we were looking at locations that we could use that would work for our drive-up option, the library was so great to offer the bookmobile. It was brand new, I think from last year maybe is when they got a new one. They hadn't been able to use it because of COVID, so they were using it for limited, not as much as they wanted to get it out. So they offered it and we jumped on it. So it was really an experience. It has an awning. It has internet in there. It had electricity so we could plug up. It even had air conditioning so we could stay cool when it got warm out. So this was a really nice option to have especially for some of our elderly clients and those that had limited mobility and maybe couldn't make it to some of our other sites. This was our Macedonia drive up and drop off location. And this was one of our busiest sites. Generally in the past, it's been definitely one of our highest performing. So it was a little bit of an adjustment for a lot of our return clients to wait in their cars. We would serve them and come to their cars, pick up their returns, and then have them come back at another time. We also did the same at the YWCA of High Point. We were able to do car side appointments here. We also partnered with the Latino Family Center at this location. So we have some interpreters and we have some Spanish speaking volunteers. So we did a night where we focused on the families that the Latino Family Center referred over so that we could have extra interpreters on hand. And so that was really successful. We were also impacted by the American Rescue Plan. There were several retroactive tax impacts that were passed with that act. One of those being unemployment. Some of it was made non-taxable by the federal government, whereas the state still taxed it. And then there was the Affordable Care Act health insurance that also had a waiver for repayment. So that came almost in the middle of our season, I think. So we had, it was a big disruption. We had to sort of hold on to some returns until our software updated, until the IRS issued additional guidance on how we could handle those returns. These, some of these returns are still being processed. You may have seen in the news where the IRS is going to be working into the summer to send an additional refund. A lot of that comes from the filers that filed before this passed. So if they filed and they were taxed on their payment, the IRS is going to turn around and give them a refund if they were owed a refund from that. I also went through and looked, and we had about 15% of our clients that had at least one person in the household receiving unemployment benefits, which was pretty high for us. We saw a lot of returns that had no taxes coming out of the unemployment on the state or the federal. So it was a big impact, especially on the state side, for people that normally didn't have to pay anything and got a refund. Whereas this year, because of all the extra unemployment, they were having to make a payment. This is our chart. This was actually our 15th year for the VITA program. As you can see, we've grown a lot over the years, from 3 sites up to 7 last year, and we 7 this year, including our prep site. We had about 713 returns prepared. And again, that was with limited site hours, reduced capacity, and we did more scanning of documents, which took a lot more time. We had to space out appointments more, which took more time. So we feel pretty good about that with all the, everything going on. I also want to point out that our average AGI is still averaging over the 15 years at about 17,000 per client. And I went through and actually counted our numbers, and about 215 of those returns, the household income was less than $10,000. Really low incomes, which is who we're trying to reach. This is a little chart that I broke out. Generally, IRS averages the paid prepare fee is about $250. Could get higher, could get a little bit lower. So we estimate about $178,000 in savings from VITA. Also, I wanted to point out we had 35 volunteers this year, lots of students, lots of retired professionals, just community volunteers. Over 1,300 hours they worked at our sites, and that was over, I think, about a 12 to 14 week season. We also, our average age for our clients was about 58. So we do see older clients, and out of our 713 returns, around 200 were 65 or older. So targeting the seniors that are on fixed income and really can't afford to have their taxes done. We also had more seniors filing this year because of the economic impact payments. If they hadn't filed, or for some reason they didn't get their stimulus from last year, we were able to claim the recovery rebate credit for them and get their stimulus payment sent to them. Earlier this week, we were awarded by the IRS. We were recognized on our volunteer recognition call with the Innovative Outreach Award, and that was the Game Changer Award, or Climate Changer, I'm sorry, Award, and that's for a VITA program that really has an innovative approach to reaching out to certain communities, whether it be low-income communities or those that are hard to reach. And we were specifically recognized for our Latino Family Center night in our partnership with the YWCA, and also our bookmobile site. They were pretty excited about us getting in a bookmobile and going to our clients and meeting those needs. So we're pretty excited about that. And this is the inside of our bookmobile site. It's one of our volunteers, Kayla. And then on the right-hand side, that's our Arc of High Point site. So I just wanted to share that. We had some really great volunteers. I really want to thank Mr. Mingo and Rob for taking the time to also volunteer this year. We really appreciate all your help, and we look forward to coming back next year. Are there any questions? Any questions?
I don't have a question, but I do have a comment. And this goes directly to Alicia, who during this tax season, she was a incredible superhero because she was seemed like at every facility. And she was on top of her game. I got to admit, I enjoyed working with her. You did a great job, Alicia. So I want to thank you for all that you did.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hey, you better thank all of us that was working behind the scene.
There
Right,
were a
Mr.
lot.
Mingo?
Oh, I'm not done. I'm not done. Yeah, I'm not done. It was a great team effort, but I got yours coming, Michelle. You wait, it's coming.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but it was a great experience though for me. Like Alicia said, I did volunteer, and it was it was set up perfectly. I mean, the folks came in, they had the forms ready. Even my job, it was made very, very simple. And the only thing they told me to do was grab a jacket and go to work. So it's pretty easy for me. I enjoyed it a lot. So again, thank you, Alicia, Michelle, and the whole team there at Community Development. You guys do a great job with that.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments, concerns? All right. So next on the agenda item are city council updates.
Hey, Rob, I'm sorry. Are we at the comment section? No, we're not.
Not yet.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
So we're at the city council updates. I don't see Councilman Jefferson here. So does anybody want to speak to any updates, either Mike or Michelle or Alicia?
Well, I can I can share with you that, and I think you saw in the paper today, council has completed their deliberations on the budget, and they have actually scheduled a special meeting, I believe, next Tuesday to approve the budget. So that will be taking place. I think you also know, unless you've been under a rock, we have a new city manager coming in July 19th. I think probably June, if not July, we'll probably start going back to open meetings in City Hall for council. I think there may be whatever. I don't know if you guys noticed this or not, but the governor's orders expired on June 19th, which means he may, depending upon what happens after Memorial Day, whether we have a spike or not, he may or may not. He possibly could put some more restrictions out. So we kind of noticed that ourselves. So everybody's looking for that holiday to see what the reaction is with the pandemic. You're still gonna have hot spots, but whether they just want to see, I think. And that's about all I got. Council's been really doing budget deliberations for the most part for the last little bit.
All right, thank you, Mike. Any questions? Any comments? Okay, so we're going to move to new business, and we're going to open the floor to agenda items that we want to see on the next meeting. The next meeting is scheduled for June 24th, and as Mike has said, we may or may not be back at City Hall, but the floor is open for any agenda items that we want to see on the next meeting. Okay, then. We'll take that silence to mean no agenda items. Okay, so we'll move to announcements and comments. I will open the floor up to any announcements, any comments that people have.
Rob, I would just like to say that, again, to thank you guys for your participation in CD Week. We actually won the John A. Sasso National Community Development Award. And we actually sent them all of our videos that we did and told them how we went about doing what we did. And we got selected. So that's an honor for that. And so I just wanted to share that with you guys. And Mike will be receiving the award on June the 18th in a Zoom conference that they're having. And so I wanted to just say again, thank you for that. And hopefully next year, we can sort of turn this over to you guys a little bit. And you guys can sort of help plan and run with this. I think would be a great opportunity just to have, CAC like you was this year involved in us doing what we're doing with CD Week. So I just wanted to say again, thank you so much. The second thing, this is sort of like a bittersweet type announcement. Alicia right now will be leaving us soon. And, she's been with us now for 8 years, but she's moving on to something bigger and better. And so, I'm saying this because this will be her last CAC meeting. And I just want you guys to be able to say goodbye or whatever, because I don't know if you'll be able to actually see her face to face, because not knowing what's happening with COVID and that type of thing. And I just want to publicly acknowledge and tell Alicia, thank you for the hard work and the effort that you have done in helping us be a better department, a better division in what we have done, because it's been awesome. It's been an honor to work with you. And I wanted the CAC to actually share in that you guys are the first group that this has been announced to. And so it will go out probably to a lot of other people. And then the other thing I asked you guys to do is to keep me in prayer, because it's going to be me by myself for a little bit, because right now we're looking at hiring two additional people. And so just open up the floor for Alicia and open up the floor for you guys to be able to say your goodbyes.
Well, thank you. I really have enjoyed my time here with the city. Of course, I've grown a lot. I feel like I've gained a whole lot of gray hairs, but some of that's from the kids probably. But I can't thank you all enough for, the work that you're doing in High Point. And I will still be in High Point, so you will still see me. I still live in High Point, so just looking forward to this next phase. Exciting, and thank you all. I'm not much for words, but.
Wow.
Well,
Lisa,
if nobody else wants to.
let me second,
Talking. Say that again.
let me second Michelle's comments.
Okay.
You've been a joy to work with, and we can only have somebody succeed you. We can't replace you.
No, okay.
Wish you all the luck
Thank you.
going forward, and I'm sure you'll do well.
Alicia, I want to put in my 2 cents. I want to thank you. You've been a superstar in helping us over the years, because I'm not the easiest person to get along with at times, but you guys tolerated it. But you just did absolute wonders and helped us so much. It's unbelievable. You live close enough, I can stop and aggravate you from time to time.
So you know where I live, Jim.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, thanks so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, Jim.
Alicia, I know you're going to be missed. I'll keep in touch with you about the Boy Scouts. I promise.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that would be great. Yes, I'm still in High Point. I've already told Michelle, I was like, I'm gonna have to come knocking. I don't know if I can step away from Vita all the way. Maybe some of the other stuff I can step away from, but not VITA.
Well, Alicia, this is Willie Davis, but I just want to say it's been very, very great getting to know you. I think you're an awesome person. I really hate to see you go, but I wish you the best. And I just really shocked to hear this, but man, I tell you, I couldn't think of a better person to get to know than you. It's really been a pleasure.
Thank you, Willie. It seems like it's been longer than 8 years. I know.
Alicia, this is Jerry. I've been working with you for 8 years, volunteering up there at the center. So you actually became like a big sister to me. And I'm really going to miss you. And your flowers will be in the mail tomorrow.
Thanks, Mr. Ringo. We're going to stay in touch, though.
Yeah.
It will be. I'll definitely be bittersweet to not be working with you every day.
I just want to share, Alicia, I haven't known you long, but one of the things that I did notice was your dedication and the craft that you have. One of the things that impressed me about you was you always wanted to give a hand in anything. You didn't have to have a title to do it. And if you saw a need for something to be done, even if it's just printing flyers or something, you jumped in and did it. And you didn't raise any flag to say, hey, this is what I did for you or what have you. So that told me a lot about your character, your integrity. And it is shocking to hear it going, but at the same time, I'm not surprised because of how valued you are in who you are. And wherever you go, I know it's going to be a big asset for them and as well as this community too, because you still live here. So I'm glad you're still in High Point. But thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. High Point definitely has grown on me. I've lived here for only 2 years now. I was in Greensboro, but once you start working over here, you just kind of get pulled in this direction. And the next thing you know, High Point's your home. So thank you. I really appreciate that.
Alicia, I'll be the last, I guess. I do want to say thank you for your dedication, all your hard work that you've given us, especially for me. I wish you the best. I'm glad that you're going higher in what you want to do. So blessings to you.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'll share my contact information once everything settles down. So I'm happy to stay in touch. Thank you so much.
I would like to say, Lisa, I think words would certainly be inadequate to try to express the value of a valueless jewel, and that's what you've been to me. I personally think that you took me under your wings to help me with many, many things, hoping that I'd learn how to fly myself. And of course, that didn't happen, but I want to thank you for your commitment to working with me in many, many areas. I will use my upper level managerial skills to find out from Mr. McNear why he wasn't able to facilitate that $25,000 a year pay raise for you just to keep you. And I'll let you know what his answer is.
Thank you, Mr. Mullen. Let me know how that works out there. But no, I really enjoy it. And one of the things that I would say is, it was never a burden to me to help out in any way that I could. I definitely, I think I see the goal, and I definitely don't want some little minor thing to be what stops you. So just grateful to have learned and grown and just been in partnership with you all in friendship for the last 8 years. So thank you all so much.
And Mrs. Doolin, I'd like to share with the group the first time that I met you. And this goes to what everyone has said here this evening, your commitment and your support of the city of High Point. When I first met you, that's what you encapsulated. And I remember I met you at the thrift store on Washington Street. And I remember you were very open to let me come in and discuss my wares in terms of supporting Washington Street and the community. And so from that day, you've always been a rock in High Point, and you will be missed. Congratulations, because I know whoever is going to get you is going to get one of the best. So all blessings to you, and thank you so much for all that you've done.
Thank you. Thank you. So nice. Thank you. Missed that thrift shop. I need to go back over there.
All right, so we do appreciate the information, Michelle. I don't know if we can top that today. Does anyone have any comments or announcements for the group?
Yeah, I just got a couple, and like you said, Mr. Chair, that announcement, I mean, is nothing on the top that. So, but just a couple of things. Just wanted to bring up. I just went through my notes. Washington Street did have their meeting this week on the 25th, and one of the things that they talked about was the speeding that's on Washington Street and trying to solve that. And it was also brought up to also look at 4th Street. And Michelle put them in charge, put them in contact with Mark McDonald. And so they're going to try to go through the process of trying to get a petition started to see of ways to mitigate the speeding that's happening on Washington Street. And then the second thing, Michelle, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, okay. And then the second thing was today I attended the Advocacy in Motion presented by the Young Ambassadors Council for cities and communities communities in schools. And one of the things that I was very impressed with the young folks, just wanted to let y'all know there were 4 presenters today, young folks, and what they talked about was a proposal for a guaranteed income pilot program for the city of High Point. They did their research, and I will say they're seniors at High Point Central. They're getting ready to go to college this fall, but I will say look out for these folks. Hamza, Cassandra, Manzi, and Layla. They did an excellent job tonight, and I just want to I not only wish them luck, but I am just ready to see what they're going to do and the schools that they're going to, the colleges, for them to look out. As a community, I want us to support them because, like I said, if you were there, I mean, they did a really good job in researching and presenting the information. And I also want to thank those that was there too. Was some council folks, as a matter of fact, Councilman Cyril was there as well. So. But again, thanks to those that came out and for the young folks. And then last thing I want to say is tomorrow's my birthday.
How old?
I'll be 51 tomorrow.
Oh my.
Happy birthday to you.
Yep.
Happy birthday to you, Ralph.
And Rob, I have one last thing. I don't think you guys have met our administrative specialist, Kaisha.
Hi.
She is she's joining us tonight. She'll probably be with us at our meetings, just sort of helping us with our minutes and then learning a little bit more about what we do and how we do it. So this is her first meeting with us. And so Kaisha, you want to tell them a little bit about yourself?
So I am the admin, but I came from City of Greensboro. I worked for Parks and Rec there. I worked at Guilford Technical Community College on a federal grant there. Worked at Workforce Development of Greensboro. I've worked at a community college in New Bern. I've done a lot of public work. It's something that I enjoy. I enjoy working public and being able to give back to my community. And so this job is really kind of perfect for me because it has all the elements of the work that I've done in the past in one. And they keep me very busy, very, very busy. Very busy, but I love it. And I'm very happy. And I'm sad to see Alicia go because she's been awesome to work with. She's been so helpful to me and keeping me on track with my invoices that get lost in the 1,000 emails that I get a day. So I just really appreciate her being understanding when I have to send them back to her because finance is questioning me about this or making little, corrections. So I am going to miss you, Alicia, and I wish you would have got the chance to work together more. And I look forward to working with everyone else and getting to know everybody else. And please be patient with me because I've never had to do minutes, but I will be doing minutes for this meeting. And if Michelle needs help on the meeting for the last meeting minutes, I will help you with that too.
Hey, Kaisha, they have to be patient with you because they've been patient with me with all these minutes that we're behind on. So you're good. You're good.
Okay.
Rob, thank you so much. That's all I have.
Well, if you take frozen sneakers to Lisa, she'll help you do anything. She loves frozen.
Snickers, you're right. You're taking me back now. Christmas.
I remember how to win your heart. Frozen Snickers.
Any other comments, questions, or concerns?
Yeah, I've got one more quick comment. In the near future, the Oakview, we plan on having one of our state lawmakers come and see if we can address the reckless driving that's going on. I drive for a living, and some of the stuff that I see is absolutely insane. And it's getting worse and worse. It's not just here in High Point, it's all over. So we're going to keep going up the ladder until we get something resolved with this, but anybody's more welcome to come to these meetings.
All right, Jim, you'll definitely let us know when that happens.
Sure.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, folks. So if all hearts and minds are clear, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Do I have? So we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Have a good evening, everyone.
Night, everyone.
Good.